we are factoring polynomials with 4 terms. Okay. So it's possible to factor using a method called grouping when there's 4 terms. So these are the steps to do that. So step 1 is we're going to group the first 2 terms together, put parentheses around them, and then we're going to put the second two terms, we're going to put parentheses around them. So my next step, what we're going to do is we're going to factor out the greatest common factor out of each set of parentheses. So what's the greatest common factor of x to the 3rd plus 7x squared? X squared, that's right. And then look, what do we have left when we factor out the x squared? So I'm going to ask for a hand, please, because I don't want just somebody to yell it out. Thank you, Cohen. Yes.
X plus 7.
Yes. And now in the second one, a hand, please. What's my greatest common factor in that second one? Henry? 2. And what do you get, Henry, when you factor out the 2?
X plus 7. And X plus 14.
X plus 7. Oh my gosh, look at that. They're the same.
Oh.
I'm going to write it neater. So, do you think that's a coincidence?
No.
It's not. On purpose. So now what you did on your warm-up, we do next. Notice what's in common here? They're both x plus 7. And then my second set of parentheses, I put x squared plus 2. I know that wasn't anybody in here. That was somebody outside. Okay, so, and it's saying if you want to check, you can distribute it. We're not going to do that so that that's right. Okay, on to some examples. Okay, so our first example here, first we're going to put parentheses around. We're going to group. So we're going to group the first 2, and then we're going to group this next 2 and the next. So what is our greatest common factor? A hand, please, of the first 2 terms.
X squared.
X squared, that's right. And what would we be left with in this set of parentheses?
X plus 4.
X plus 4. You follow me so far? So what's the greatest common factor in the second
8.
parentheses? Thank you, Will.
8.
8. And then what are you left with, Will?
X plus 4.
Good. And we want to get x plus 4 again. We did again. And that's what we want. So now we're going to rewrite this. We're going to group. And we have one set of parentheses that has an x plus 4. And the other one would have x plus 8.
Is it supposed to be X squared?
X squared what?
Oh yeah, because there's a square.
Oh, sorry, it's an x squared. Thank you. Good catch. Thank you. I didn't see that. X squared do we factor out? Yes, good. Does that make sense?
Now it does.
Yes. So now this would be x squared plus 8 times x squared. Because we're factoring out this x plus 4, what's in common? That comes out 1, and then this plus this. So does it matter what order I write these 2 sets of parentheses? Can I switch that order? Important. Can I switch that order?
No.
5 times 4, is that the same thing as 4 times 5? Yes, it's multiplication, so the order doesn't matter. You get the same answer. Okay, so on number 2, we're going to group. Can I get a hand, please, for what the greatest power factor is? The first one.
3.
Yes, go in.
3.
Good. 3. B squared. Good. And then what would we be left with?
B. B. Plus 2.
B plus 2. That's right. And then what do I do in the next one in order to get a B plus 2 again? I want to get it to be the same. So, Derek, a -7. Does that make sense? If I factor out a -7, then I'm going to get a B plus 2 again. Because that's what I want to get. I want to get the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
So then back there, tell me what my final answer will be. Kristen? Yep. So now maybe you can see why we did that warm-up. Okay, go ahead and do this as your you try. Do number 3, please.
Oh, you tried to
Oh, oh, and then it.
I would try.
I read the one.
Oh, wow.
He's already been elected 2 years ago, Robert. Now they have drafted wrong. You know, yeah, I don't know. I just like
I got it. I got it. You want another one?
yeah. I don't want to get
whatever that is. Okay, here's the answer to the U trial. Thank you, -1. Yeah. So the next one, these next two have a little bit of a twist. Pay attention. Is there something that's in common with all of those terms there?
No.
Is there a common factor on all of them? There's an X in all of them. So we're going to factor the X out first. So none of the other ones had that. This one has an X that we can factor out. So we'd be left with, here in this group, what are we left with once we take the X out?
Oh, we just factored it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep, 2X. So what's the exponent on the X? On the 2X squared?
Yeah.
Plus 15X? Plus 10. So now we're going to take what's inside there and we're going to, so we're going to group those. So I'm just going to use a different color. Group these and group these. So my greatest common factor here would be what in these two here? This group back here. What's my greatest common factor in the 3x cubed plus 2x squared? Dexter, Weston, what's the greatest common factor? Yes, x squared. And then what's left inside the parentheses? X squared times what gives us 3x to the third? 3x plus 2. And then my greatest common factor here is a 5. And we would get 3x plus 2 again. So now I do inside that those brackets there, I do that next step like we did on the worksheet. So we have what in common with these two here? What's in common with these two here? 3x plus 2. So x times 3x. Let me, since I did it this way before. 3x plus 2 here, and then x squared plus 5 on this one. So if you did not see that you could factor out an x first, and you just went ahead and did the steps going from here to here, what would happen is you would have one of them that would need to be factored again. This is the final answer. You have to factor completely. You have to have the x in the front. So last one. Okay, last one, pay attention, this is another twist. Okay, so what's my greatest common factor here on this one? X squared. And then what's left? Let's see, that group back in the corner, x minus 5. What's my greatest common factor on this one back there?
-4.
Yes. Wait. Jason, let's see. So a -4, and then what's left inside the parentheses? Plus or minus? Minus. And so then we have x squared minus 4 and x minus 5. Does this factor again?
Oh yeah.
Does it factor again?
X minus 2.
Yes, we can take the square root. It has to be a minus there for us to factor again. If it's a plus, we cannot factor again. So this factors to, what's the square root of 4? 2. What's the square root of x squared? X. And then our signs, plus and minus. And again, has to be a minus there. It does not factor if it's a plus there. It has to be a minus. Yep. Otherwise, it wouldn't factor. Yes. Yep. Okay.